Hello YouTube, welcome back to another game of Starcraft 2 Legacy of the Void. This is going to be another game from this best of 5 between Namshar and Hydra. Of course you've already seen, at least I hope you've seen the first game. If you haven't, click the link in the description below. Otherwise you will be spoiled in just a few moments after we introduce our players. So on the top right hand side of Orbital Shipyard here, we've got Namshar. Namshar is somebody I haven't seen before, but he is on Karnage eSports and he is from Sweden. Now his opponent is going to be Hydra. Hydra is the Zerg here on the bottom left hand side. He's blue, and it does appear that he started off with quite an early spawning pool. I do believe that was a 12 or 13 pool. Didn't actually spot it. But Hydra is on Root Gaming and he's from Korea. I just want to leave a quick message with this video as well. I'm pretty much streaming every single time that I'm recording right now, which is, I suppose it might be a cool thing to note. I don't stream on Twitch anymore, so despite the fact that I do have Twitch set up as my outro, I will be changing that very shortly to show you that I'm actually not going to be streaming there. It's all going to be done on YouTube, simply because Twitch it doesn't seem to agree with my computer / internet. I'm not sure why, but it just does not work. I have a 10 megabit upload speed, and even though Twitch only takes about 3.5 absolute maximum, it stutters every now and then. Not stutters, but it buffers, which makes no sense considering I've quite high-end computer and a more than enough. I mean, my connection is 3 times fast enough to actually stream. So definitely a strange one. And of course I'm not on Wi-Fi, just to note that also. So I've tried pretty much every bit of troubleshooting and nothing works whatsoever. So let's look at this. Hydra's got 6 Zerglings on the way here. He does have 2 more as well. It seems to be a lot of early aggression. Just to note as well, our score currently at 1 in favor of Hydra. And these Zerglings are going to be inside the base here before these Zerglings are going to spawn. I mean, look at that. They're only being started right now, so let's see how much damage he's going to manage to pull off with here. A nice surround with these drones, splitting them up pretty much every time to prevent the damage being done. But how much of these drones are going to fall before he cleans up the Zerglings? He has taken out 3 already. I don't really know if that's worth a huge overcommitment here, but I think he's at this point stopped making Zerglings. He seems to be focusing more on building his expansion right now and his economy. So let's look. 5 drones for 9 Zerglings. I would say, you know what? Probably not worth it, simply because at this point Namshar has his expansion already complete a bit in advance. But at the same time, if you take a look, Namshar is only now starting to saturate, and he's got 14 out of 16 here, whereas Hydra is already saturated. In fact, he's oversaturated on his natural. So I would say, 5 drones for 9 Zerglings at the very beginning, I would say definitely worth it. I mean, the only thing, of course, now to be concerned about is whether Hydra is going to be able to counterattack here and destroy his opponent. But with these 2 queens on the ramp, I'm pretty sure that he'll be able to hold this off quite easily. Shouldn't really have any problem. So let's see, looks like Metabolic Boost is now on the way for Namshar. Hydra didn't actually start his yet, so he's not interested in getting himself the upgrade. These 2 queens in position. Now just to note, these are creep queens. And he does have a Roach Warren right on the ramp, so while you don't generally block a Zerg, that could potentially be used with another building here, and then just put the queen in there and just, block off. But honestly, I don't see that really happening. I'd say he's just putting it there for the sake of putting it there. Let's see, looks like we have a second gas coming down. Namshar has got 1 second gas as well on the way. He's actually not fully saturated, this one. Just has 1 worker on it. Does have his own Roach Warren as well. So let's see how both of our players play it out from here. Level 1 attack on the way for Namshar. Let's see, these queens getting a little bit ballsy moving out. I mean, if those Zerglings had metabolic boost at this point, they would be able to run by, and that's exactly what they're doing without the metabolic boost. So there we go. Roach is actually managing to intercept them, so that's quite handy, I suppose, getting those taken out. But of course he did get a scout out. Fortunately for Hydra, not really much to be revealed here. But at this point, it looks like Namshar will be aware of this expansion. I mean, he did have his Zergling ready. Namshar actually has his own expansion about half complete at this point. So he is a bit ahead. Probably got a bit distracted earlier when I was talking about YouTube streaming as well. So the way I see it is YouTube is actually far superior right now in terms of streaming for one thing and one thing only. You don't actually, I mean, if you have a decent YouTube channel, or I'd like to consider my channel decent anyways, you can argue that in the comments below if you don't agree, but if you have a partnered YouTube channel, then at that point you already have the ability to stream at, for example, 1080p, which is exactly what I'm doing, and basically YouTube will automatically re-encode it to a different quality, like 480p or 720p if required. Whereas on Twitch, I'm not even sure how to go about getting partnership. Now these Zerglings are probably going to help quite a lot with taking out these roaches, and I do think that Hydra is in quite a dominating position right now with these units. I mean, he's got so many units inside this third base right now, and I think that if Namshar is not careful, he could very well lose the game right now. And about streaming, by the way, again. So obviously, I'm a partner YouTube channel. I do have the ability to stream, and you see a lot of streamers on Twitch. They don't actually use the YouTube streaming because they don't have a YouTube channel, or at least they don't have a partnered YouTube channel to be able to stream. As well as that, obviously you've got the Twitch alert and the follow alert and all this kind of stuff on Twitch, which kind of gives a bit of an extra user experience when you're streaming. I mean, it's nice to see your donation popping up. I've donated to a few streamers before, and it's quite nice, you know, seeing your message pop up. And you know, for example, I was watching Rotterdam, who's a commentator himself. I was watching him stream, and he was on for about 3.5 hours, and nobody had donated to him at that point. I mean, he's not a pro player. He's a professional caster, but not a player. He's I think he's in Masters League on both Korean and North American servers. And you know, I was like, okay, so I can't donate much. I mean, I have to rely on the job myself to keep myself alive. I don't actually make a whole lot of money off YouTube, so I gave him $5 just to start it off, and I was like, you know, hey. You know, I can't really donate much, but here you go, here's something. And I was like, hope that I can kick this off and get a few other people to donate. And then within about 5 minutes, I've had, there was a guy that donated $20, and then another one who donated $10, which is a pretty cool thing. So, yeah, just, I don't really worry about the donations right now. I mean, obviously, any sort of growth that I look for is actually in the channel itself. If my channel itself can grow, I'm absolutely more than happy with that. So, like, you know, somebody might donate, let's say, $10 to me or something like that. You know, I'd prefer if it was 10 subscribers. That would be a much more beneficial thing for me, because the more viewers that I have, the more likely the video is actually going to be shared. The more likely it's going to be, liked, commented, and of course watched fully, which again is beneficial for a YouTube channel. So just to point out what's going on here, it looks like Hydra has a Spire on the way. About halfway complete. He's got a lot of gas saved up at this point. He's got 600 gas. Spire's about 2/3 complete, which means he'll probably be able to... Oh, you know what? Actually, he's just pumped out a bunch of roaches. That's 19 roaches on the way for Hydra. He really feels that he's going to be able to do something here. And let's have a quick look what he's seen. He hasn't seen this expansion, so he's just going out of instinct here. Both players have very similar builds, but the Spire could be a bit of a waste if he doesn't actually make use of it, but I think that he probably will get a few Mutilisks out again, just like last time. Which will, of course, be of quite good benefit if you can make use of them as much as last time. Now, Namshar decides to go for a few Hydras. This is probably to deal with those Mutilisks, just in case they come out. Not to forget that you know, Hydras actually have quite high DPS, so it's not something to be completely, you know, ignoring altogether. You know what, I'm not really going to talk much about YouTube versus Twitch anymore. What I'll do is I will actually make a specific video for that and just basically have a discussion with people about that. I mean, if you want me to do it on a stream, of course, let me know. I'll do it that way. Maybe, you know, have a live conversation with somebody, and maybe even a streamer. If one of you guys is a streamer and you want to have a quick chat about what you like about Twitch and why you don't use YouTube. I mean, if you're simply limited by the fact that you're not a partner, then, you know, that's fine. But I'll make a video about it and we'll discuss there. So let's see what's going on here. Let's have a quick look at the units tab. Doesn't look like any Mutilisks have been put out yet, but But Hydra at this point has got quite a large army. I mean, Namshar still has his own quite large army. Oh, he's going to be able to pick off free Overlord here. And he's going to start moving down. Now, he obviously doesn't know at this point that... Oh, that's interesting enough. 206. I see how he done that. He used his drones to build a bunch of buildings, and then he just cancelled them off. So it's like the extractor trick, but obviously with spine crawlers or spore crawlers, whichever you prefer. So Lurker Den is on the way for Namshar. Let's see what kind of engagement we're going to be going on here. Oh, having to cancel though, that's actually quite a lot of minerals lost and even gas. Because of course cancelling that off does lose you a bit of the income. This Roach, poor little thing, is trying to catch up with his group, not quite making it. And I think that Hydra has got such a dominating army here right now. 134 supply against 122 right now. That's including all the reinforcing units that are on the way also. But I think that if Hydra steamrolls into the base right now, he will very, very likely be able to just completely overrun his opponent. Taking out the Queen pretty much for free. Did put down some preemptive corrosive biles, but obviously, as you can see, there was actually nothing there at that time. And the army supply is very similar right now. I think that if Hydra stays inside this engagement, he will actually lose it out. Simply because he's not going to have as quick reinforcements as Namshar himself does. So using a Ravager Cocoon right here. I think that Hydra probably needs to make use of that Spire he's got right now. I mean, there is a few Hydras on the field right now for Namshar. Counting here, it's about 13, but I still think that he could use the extra harassment, or even maybe, you know, he's got Tunneling Claws already complete. Doesn't have Burrow just yet, so it would be nice to maybe sneak in some Roaches, take out some of Namshar's economy. I mean, 70 versus 66. He actually seems to be just doing that here with just a bit of an extra engagement on the side. Now these Roaches probably won't be able to deal with those Ravagers and Hydras, and this army is having to back off here as well. 127 to 116 is our army supply right now. Not a big difference. I mean, we've already seen that Namshar managed to come around and basically survive against an army which was much bigger than his own just very, very shortly ago. Let's see what he's going to do here. I mean, he does have Burrow on the way, so I think he might try to do something with Burrowed Roaches. He's already got the Tunneling Claws complete. Both players have actually opted to go almost identical times. They both went for the Carapace level 2, which, you know, with this amount of units is going to be quite a bit of a benefit to them. Every bit of damage you can reduce from your opponent, of course, is very, very valuable to you. Corrosive Biles being thrown down. I think Hydra actually got hit by a few of those, but I don't think he lost anything. And here, I think that the main thing is going to be who gets a better concave here. I think Hydra has a better positioning, but right now they are very, very equal. Supply is slightly favoring Namshar, but you know yourself, such a small supply lead with Zerg bases, and both of them, as you can see, also going for expansions at the same time. You know, that could be even out very, very quickly. Ooh, Hydra going straight in there. He is not scared of this army. He's got Hydras, he's got Ravagers, he's got Corrosive Biles going down as well, but he's getting hit by so many of Namshar's ones as well. The question is going to be who's going to come out on top. It does look like Namshar just about managing to clean this up, and I think that this is very, very heavily relying on the fact that Hydra just sat in so many Corrosive Biles right now. 18 Roaches were on the way for Namshar there. He's got a few Hydralisks. Looks like Ravagers and Roaches being morphed in for Hydra as well. And let's see how this is going to play out. I mean, it's a very close fight so far. As you can see, all of the trades have been so good that it makes me think, should these players try to tech out, you know, just very, very slowly, just, you know, every time they can, you know, sacrifice maybe 200-300 gas on a different building, for example Broodlord, and try to just get a few of those out. I mean, Hydra already has the tech required. And here we go, the Roaches be moved off to the side here. They're probably going to go towards that base, try to take out a few workers. I just want to have a quick look at what our players are actually seeing. So Hydra, not aware of that extra expansion there. Namshar, not aware of his opponent's 5th expansion as well. So both players think they're on 4 bases until this point. Obviously he's seeing that now. Let's see what we've got now. He's going to manage to snipe off this hatchery uncontested. Let's have a quick look at units lost tab. Hydra has actually lost quite a few more roaches as well, simply because he's been standing inside of those corrosive boils. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes he's got right now. He's just not scared, but look at the workers supply. 36 have been lost for Namshar, 0 for Hydra. So he's been doing so good to keep his workers alive for so long. So let's zoom out even a bit more just to see this army from the very beginning. Let's have a look at it from the side. It's a bit of different control, and the Hydra engagements from these roaches, beautiful harassment. As you can see, obviously Namshar is just focusing directly onto this army. He's not too worried about his opponent's attacking force inside his base, which has already killed 25 workers while we were just focusing on that main fight. So many units being lost. Hydra's losing his main base, but at the same time, if he in any way manages to hold on here, he will be able to very, very easily defeat his opponent after that. 23 workers for Namshar, 60 for Hydra. So it's going to be really important. If Hydra holds on with this aggression here, he will be able to take the game. If he doesn't, so then at that point, obviously he could very well lose the game right here, right now. Looks like we do have lurkers on the field. Both army supplies are very, very equal, but Hydra has the greater worker army, and this base getting completely shut down. I don't think the Hydra can engage onto it just now. Just managing to snipe off a few of the extra reinforcing units that are on the way. And what is he going to do? All he's got right now is roaches, whereas Namshar does have lurkers. He has ravagers, and he has a few hydras in there as well. By few, I mean 17, which is not exactly a small number. Okay, and this base as well gonna get denied. So at the moment, it does look like Hydra is on 2 bases, where his opponent is on 3. So the question really is going to be who's going to win the next team fight, because that alone is going to be the deciding factor of this game. Worker supply has dramatically evened out. I mean, in fact, Hydra and Namshar is actually a little bit ahead at this point. He's also starting to come ahead in worker supply. Let's have a quick look at those bases. Oh my god, he's actually almost mined out. So it could be all about this. If Hydra does not hold on against this army, he's got no resources to make reinforcements. It's now or never. He either has good micro here and beats his opponent straight out, or he loses right here, right now. I think from my point of view, all that Namshar really needs to do is just continue the way he's doing it right now. Mine out his base here, expand onto this side, and just don't risk with this fight. As you can see, Hydra is having a very, very similar army supply, so it's pretty much, you know, neck to neck right now. And these roaches, of course, being spotted by an overseer over here. We definitely want to fight on, don't want to fight onto lurkers. I believe there's just 2 lurkers there, but that would be enough to potentially do a huge amount of damage. Let's see here, we've got roaches starting to do a bit of damage with the harassment here. This base is also going down. It is being spotted by Hydra. Just to note, there's an overlord in the air. And these roaches starting to take out more and more of these workers. The question is going to be, is Hydra going to expand? If he's not going to expand and this base comes up, which I think all that Namshar needs to do is just hold this base. If he holds it, at that point he could very, very likely take this game. They've got engagements going down, just a bit of puck shots going from both of our players. And these roaches are getting cleaned up. Now there's almost no workers for either of our players. They've got 20 workers each. Let's have a quick look at the resources on that. He doesn't actually have enough to make a hatchery unless he fully mines that out. I think he needs to do a bit of long distance mining and actually get an expansion up. And honestly, I think that he's actually waited just a tad bit too long to take that expansion, so he's not in a great position right now. But the engagement going down, it's neck and neck. Both of the armies just losing so many units all the time. I think that the lurker count is going to be making a big difference here for Namshar. As you can see, 63 to 46. Namshar is coming out ahead on this engagement, and Hydra losing all of his units, and you know, as very kind of ironically to Hydralisks. So does look like he's actually lost that engagement, and there we go. GG has been called. Namshar taking game number 2, bringing the series up to 1 apiece, which means we're going to move on to game number 3 very, very shortly. And that is it for game number 2 of the series. I hope you have enjoyed it so far. Of course, leave it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see any more of my videos, and I will see you guys in game number 3, where we're going to see how this one progresses. Good luck, take care, bye bye.